Hunter resides in a small Rocky Mountain town in Colorado 3 years later. Curious to explore what's on the other side, he chooses to cross the 8,000-foot safe line one day. Hunter hardly has time to move before coming across a Reaper, so he starts to run back. He nearly succumbs to the beast, but he crosses the boundary just in time. Hunter then goes back to his house in the Lost Gulch Refuge, which is home to 193 survivors. Will, his father, chastises him for going over the safe line, bringing up Hunter's lung issues in addition to the monsters. Will notes that he can't lose him the way he lost his wife when Hunter clarifies that all he wanted was to meet more people. Will and Katie go hunting later, and Will tells Katie what occurred. Although Katie acknowledges his concerns, she also notes that Hunter is the only child in their neighborhood, so it makes sense that he would want to make friends with whom he can play. Will clarifies, though, that Hunter is merely attempting to visit the location where he last saw his mother. In the meantime, Nina, a scientist, is testing bullets by shooting them at a piece of Reaper hide, but they still don't cause any harm. As Will recalls the time his wife went with Nina on the secret mission that killed her, he becomes irritated when he hears her firing that night. He quickly heads to Hunter's room to replace the filter in the breathing apparatus after hearing him cough. Hunter eventually settles down and is able to sleep once more, but that was the last filter in the home. As Will looks at various maps, he muses over how difficult it would be to go outside the boundaries and search for other filters. Will gets the final box of mac and cheese from the neighborhood to offer his kid a treat on Hunter's birthday. Hunter questions why they no longer use the radio while they prepare. Will explains that in order to conserve electricity, they communicate with neighboring refuges using flags. Hunter finds this depressing because communication is crucial. Will is forced to give Hunter an injection when he starts coughing again that evening. Will visits Nina after Hunter goes back to sleep and informs her that he will be heading to Boulder in the morning to find filters for his son. Because she knows the area by heart, Nina doesn't believe him when he says he's discovered a safe path. As it happens, her former laboratory is located in Boulder. Since she has researched the Reapers for years and survived her most recent trip, Will wants her to accompany him. However, Nina reminds out that she was lucky to survive, and Will's wife did pass away on that trip. Will, who isn't giving up, tells her about a mine that runs through the mountains, but Nina continues to refuse to go because she believes it's worse because the Reapers could imprison them there. Nina works on altering a compass after Will departs, but she breaks down in tears when she considers Will's wife's passing. Before heading to the gun store to purchase a number of firearms, Will asks a neighbor to watch Hunter. Despite his objections, Katie shows up and declares she is coming with him. Additionally, Nina concedes and accepts, making fun of Katie for her lack of expertise and potential load. Hunter points out that his mother said the same thing when Will bids him farewell and says he will return. When the three of them finally depart, Will encourages Nina to stop being impolite to Katie. Nina goes on to say that when Reapers are within half a mile, her customized compass can detect their intense bioelectromagnetic pulses. They discover the Elba Fire Road and the 8,000-foot line after a lengthy walk. The three of them cross the line and begin to descend as soon as the compass indicates that there are no monsters in the area. They look for supplies in the abandoned vehicles they discover a little while later. They receive ammunition, flares, and even a grenade launcher, which Katie is proficient with. Additionally, Nina locates a Reaper scale and spends some time collecting a sample. Nina accuses Katie of wanting to get into Will's pants after an altercation that breaks out when Katie tries to hurry her, reminding her that Nina killed Katie's best friend, that is, Will's wife. A furious Katie shoves her against a truck. Will must separate the women before the situation worsens after they begin striking each other. As they continue their journey, the gang is shocked to discover several horses in the forest, indicating that the Reapers solely target people for some reason. They eventually arrive at Alta Vista ski area, where they intend to safely access the mines using the chairlift. They notice something trembling the woodland trees at that very moment, and Nina's compass warns of a monster nearby. While the women remain on the ground to provide cover, Will immediately ascends to the top of the elevator and begins working on turning on the backup generators. When Katie sees the creature coming, she throws a few grenades in a panic, causing some explosions but doing no harm to the Reaper. After Will completes connecting the generator, Nina flips a switch and settles into a chair, and Will joins her right away. As the Reaper approaches, they start shooting at it, and Katie starts to ascend the tower to get to the chairs as well. The chairs tremble as the monster leaps on the cables, but the two of them are able to stay together. Will must grab Katie in midair as she waits for the perfect opportunity to jump but regrettably misses the chair, just before the monster causes the wires to tremble once more and send all three of them crashing to the ground, Nina runs out of ammunition. They begin racing right away, and just before the monster can reach them, they cross the boundary into the 8,000-foot area. The three of them decide to spend the night at the ski resort because it is growing dark. As they sip their drinks together, Nina notes that 95% of the world's population was wiped out by the Reapers when they first appeared, without pausing for food or rest. While Reapers kill people for amusement and avoid attacking other animals, predators kill to feed. She questions whether they were sent there expressly to eradicate humanity in light of this. Will recalls the final conversation he had with his wife, who genuinely believed Nina's abilities to find a means to kill the Reapers. After the women have gone to sleep, the party eventually arrives at the mine where Will used to work the following day. He clarifies that although the tunnel's lower floors do descend below the safety limit, both ends are over 8,000 feet, which is not warmly welcomed. The animals may still locate them because the tunnels aren't adequately sealed, and Nina's compass isn't functional underground. However, given how far they've come, Nina and Katie are forced to continue pursuing Will. The three of them enter the tunnels and wander in quiet for a few hours, while wearing construction helmets for illumination. Unfortunately, when they learn that the main tunnel has been closed due to a cave-in, they are compelled to stop. Will declares that they must descend level 7, which entails 1,000 yards of walking beneath the line. The three of them enter the new tunnel by using the steps after being spooked by some bats, moving as quickly as they can to stay out of trouble. They cover the lights on their helmets when they hear a sudden disturbance, but it's too late. A Reaper has already seen them in the tunnel. In an attempt to slow the monster down, Katie occasionally throws a grenade as the party instantly begins to run. Additionally, the Reaper is repelled by abandoned machinery, and Will fires, but it serves no purpose. The three of them dash inside when they discover a breach in the wall, and Will shoots at the rocks to create enough space for them to hide. Will throws a flare to divert the Reaper's attention, as it inserts its bright tail inside the hole. They shove a few pebbles aside so they may crawl through the opposite wall, which is where the light indicates an escape route. Will must avoid the Reaper's tail, and move last before he may follow his comrades. A Reaper finds Katie after she has been crawling for a few minutes, and stabs her with its tail as soon as she emerges into another tunnel. Will tries to grab her, but is unable to do it quickly, so he must watch as the monster snatches her away. When Nina discovers a ladder, she and Will immediately ascend it as they hear a Reaper behind them. Fortunately, they locate the door and escape the mine, arriving at a safe altitude in time. With the exception of caressing a goat, Nina and Will keep traveling forward. They locate an abandoned house at night and break in to spend the night there. Will mentions that Hunter's favorite food is macaroni and cheese, so they eat some boxes for supper. Nina responds that she might discover a chemical that would ultimately enable the bullets to harm the monsters when he asks what's in the old lab. According to her theory, internal combustion might result from the correct bullet, since the Reaper's scales are electrically charged. Will finds it hard to accept his wife died over a tenuous notion, and believes it sounds like an impossible magic bullet. On the next day, they retrieve the vehicle from the residence, and use it to quickly cross the line via an animal-infested town. When they finally arrive at the hospital, they look for the filters and hear strange noises, but the compass doesn't warn them of anything. They must eventually locate the filters on the last floor, after which they flee. The two must move fast to avoid the enormous claws of a Reaper that suddenly pierces a wall. Every time the Reaper destroys a wall or window, they are struck by falling debris, and continue to run into a pile of furniture. On their way out, Will is suddenly caught by the monster's tail, as it stretches through a wall. Nina snatches the flaming axe and strikes the tail until the monster releases her comrade. Then, in the hopes that it will offer some cover, Nina releases a gas canister to create fog in the hallways. Will gets an idea from this and waits for the Reaper to approach sufficiently before firing several oxygen tanks. The monster is launched through the window as a result of the explosion. They must act quickly because even though the monster isn't moving anymore, they can't tell if it's dead or unconscious. Nina persuades Will to accompany her to the lab so she may complete her bullets, even though he wants to return. The Reaper awakens after the two depart in the vehicle. They arrive at the lab a little while later, where Will keeps watch while Nina begins mixing chemicals. He is startled to discover a photograph on one of the tables that shows Nina formerly had a family that she never discusses. Nina sobs as she says that she was unable to be with her family on the day the world ended because she was working. She feels particularly bad because she decided not to attend her son's soccer match that day. Nina acknowledges that she feels guilty about killing Will's wife, but Will reassures her that no one was at blame. Nina tests her bullet on the hide after finishing it, but nothing occurs. She advises Will to return to his son, but she intends to stay and continue experimenting until she either finds a solution, or is killed by the Reapers. While Nina attempts another bullet mix, which also fails, Will departs on his truck. She is so preoccupied that she is unaware of her compas reaction. She quickly mixes it as a last resort after hearing some noise, and realizing there is a particular chemical combination she hasn't tested. In the meantime, the truck loses control and collapses onto its side after inadvertently popping a tire. When Will hears a monster approaching, he awakens after being unconscious for a short while. The Reaper follows him as he kicks off the vehicle window to escape and begins to run. After the crash, his body finds it difficult to climb the slope, and just as he is about to cross the safe line, another Reaper blocks his path. As Will frantically fires without success and gives up, Nina appears and fires her fresh rounds. Her theory is confirmed when an odd explosion filled with smoke and electric charge occurs. Even as the Reapers attempt to flee, Nina swiftly shoots them all, killing them in a matter of seconds. She then confirms that these creatures are robots designed to kill people by grabbing a portion of the Reaper's body and demonstrating the mechanical components to Will. Nina speculates that aliens sent them when Will wonders who sent them. Will and Hunter reconnect later, when they reach their haven, and Nina hoists a pirate flag to declare that she has found a means of combat. Will eventually uses the radio once more to spread their message of hope around the world after survivors come together to construct tons of unique bullets. Nina also retains the bodies of monsters, so she can continue to study them. After arming themselves, the survivors go into the forest and eliminate as many Reapers as they can in order to recapture the area. Will and Nina use a telescope to observe the sky one night when they spot 3 enigmatic lights coming toward Earth.